Welcome back to the Real Table Podcast with your boy Michael Carter, and it is great to be here another day and another episode about The Penguin, the hit HBO show. And I'm so excited to dive into this episode because we've got one more episode after this, y'all. One more episode left of The Penguin, and I honestly don't know what I'm gonna do in my life without this show. Sunday nights are the best with The Penguin. I actually didn't watch this on Sunday night. I watched it the day after because daylight savings, y'all. Daylight savings does something to you, man. It was like 8, 9 o'clock, and I'm on the couch with the wife, and we're watching Only Murders in the Building. And I am trying so hard to get through these episodes of Only Murders with her, and I'm sitting right here falling asleep, and she's like, "You're falling asleep," and I'm like, "No, I'm not." And she's like, "Yeah, you are. You're sitting over here snoring," and I am exhausted, right? And so I was like, I can't watch The Penguin. I can't watch The Penguin like this. I'm not gonna make it through, right? So I was like, I'm gonna watch it tomorrow. I'm gonna find some time on Monday, and I'm gonna watch it. So I watched it. So today's Monday for me, and so I watched it earlier today, and boy, we've got an episode on our hands. We've got an episode on our hands. It is just me today. The boys could not make it. Josiah and Corn, and we're trying to get them on for next week because next week is big. It's the finale. It's the finale. It's the finale, and so we're gonna try to get the boys in on this. And who knows? I've been thinking about it. I've been pondering it, and we'll see what happens. We might have to do a live episode, right? We might have to do a live episode talking about this one. We'll watch it and we'll do a live episode to talk about it. That sounds fire to me. I've never done a live episode yet, but I know I'm like, that's stuff that I want to do on this podcast. So maybe next week, stay tuned to the socials and keep your eyes out, keep your ears open. It might happen. We might do it next week, and I'll make that announcement sooner rather than later. But enough about that. Let's get into Top Hat. Episode 7. Episode 7 of 8 episodes, and episode 7 starts off differently than I expected. I thought we would pick up right back off of episode 6. We see Sophia finally at Crown Point. She finds out that, holy crap, his mom is alive, and then obviously she sees Vic there, but it doesn't. The episode does not pick right back off there. Instead, we get a flashback. We get an awaited flashback that we've been waiting for this, y'all. I've been itching for this. We've talked about this in the past weeks, but we get a backstory on Oz. We finally get that backstory, and we get to see where he comes from. And let me tell you, the episode itself I thought it was very good, but this moment to see a young Oz, right? A younger Francis, and then we finally get to see his two brothers, Jackie and Ben. This moment, this whole scene, this whole beginning. I think a friend texted me and he said it was 12 minutes long. The whole beginning, this whole section was like 12 minutes. And I'm going to say it's 12 minutes. Let's say it's 12 minutes. This whole 12-minute section was beautifully done, right? We get to see this young Oz, and the guy playing him, forgive me, I don't have the actor's name on hand right now, but they casted a great young actor to take on Oz, which is beautiful. And we get to see that Oz was born with a limp. He was born with the cleft foot, with a messed up foot. And so we already see that he has a brace on, and he's small, he's a little heavy. So we see we see Oz, we see where he comes from, we see where he was when he was younger, which was also so cool. And then again, we see a young Francis who wants nothing to really I almost say nothing to do with Oz, but she's not really paying attention to Oz, right? She's not paying attention. She's doing bills. She's doing other stuff. And he's like, Ma, come on, Ma, come on, Ma, come on. Let's do something. Let's do something fun. Let's watch a movie. She's trying to focus on whatever she's working on. And then we get two young boys, Jackie and Ben. The two brothers come into picture, and they're playing around and they're messing around. And then you see Frances change her tone, change her tune. And she starts to play with Jackie and Ben. And then you see instantly the separation between those two boys and Oz, right? The love, the affection that Frances shows those two boys is completely different than anything she gives to Oz. Oz is the ugly stepchild, basically, right? He's the lowest of the lows. That's what we get from this moment. And it breaks your heart. It breaks your heart, right? And so we see the two brothers, and then we, Frances tells the boys, "Hey, go out and give this book to, I can't remember the guy's name. Give this book to basically a powerful man. He's basically a gangster, mafia guy. Go give this book to him, whatever." They go down and they see this dude and they see this dangerous man. And throughout this moment, you can see that Oz is enamored. He's enamored to know what power is, to know what this gangster is, to know what money is. All this stuff that makes you go, this kid, man, this kid desires, he needs love and affection and all this other stuff, because what he's getting from his family is clearly not it, because he wants some of what's going on over there, right? So eventually the boys decide that they're going to go play hide and seek. And of course, as you'd expect, Oz is it. Oz is the guy that has to go find his brothers. And this turns into a very unfortunate left turn that I didn't expect to see. Yeah, you're right. You know Oz. You know who he is. You know that he's not a great guy. He's a bad guy. Some would say a scumbag, but Oz is not a good guy. And in this scene, we see it captured how his brothers are in the sewers and they're playing, and they know that Oz is slow and he can't walk as fast and he can't climb down as well. And they really did that to that man. They really made him feel like a fool, and he knew he couldn't come down. And so it blew my mind that Oz would go and close that sewer door. It I don't say blew my mind, but it was like, oh, like everything makes sense up until this point. The fact that he would kill his own brothers, right? And then we know that it stems from the fact that mom gives these boys all the affection. They're the golden child, right? They can walk correctly. There's nothing wrong with them. And so to see that come to play, it's like, wow. I thought it would be Oz hanging out with the wrong people. But when you think about it, how Oz has been treated, how he's been looked at, and how he treats other people, it kind of clicks to go, man, anybody's game but his mother, right? But his mother. But then again, even watching what he did, you've got to wonder, even though his mother is his pride and joy, I don't think he would ever just flip on his mom. But like, would there be a moment where he goes, I'm going to do it for power? Will there be a moment where he just goes, I'm going to do this for power, to be on top? The question, man. The question. And again, we're going to find that out in episode 8. In episode 8, we're going to find that out. But again, I want to let that sit out there. Like, think about it. Like, I get it. His mother is his pride and joy. Killed his two brothers at a young age because of that, left him to drown in the sewer. But now you're like, okay, could he do that to his mother? If he knows that this is that roadblock, this is that thing that I got to cut ties with to have the power that I want, will he do it? That remains the question. I'm excited to see. Actually, I shouldn't say I'm excited to see, but I'm intrigued to see. Um, so after we see that whole flashback, which was beautifully done, and we also get to see the manipulation of the mom of Francis. You know, I think we get to see a manipulation when she's telling him, you got to give me everything that I want. You got to promise me to give me what I need and give me what I want, because I can't do this no more. It all started from a young age, early on. That boy was not put up for success, right? But then again, it was also a choice for that boy. It's also a choice. He killed his brothers. Anyways, as the episode keeps going, obviously, we finally get to see what happens after Sophia walks in. And, well, it kind of picks up after she walks in. Oz walks in and into the apartment, but he sees that the door is open, takes out his gun, but boy is ready. But then he finds Vic on the floor, knocked out. And as always, he's like, Vic, where's my mom? Where's my mom? And Vic is like, Sophia came. Dude is all dazed out because he got hit in his head, got blood running down his head. And then the Maronis show up, and then he tells Vic to go. He's like, hey, go get me an army. Go get me an army, bro. Get out of here. And he gets out of here, and Sal walks in. You know what Sal's going to do? Sal decided to put the hands on that Mo. All right, he put the hands on him. Oz is down on the ground and all this other stuff. And, this is the moment for Maroni. He's been waiting on this after killing his wife, after killing his son. Oh, dude, he's going to light this dude up. And so he puts the beating on him. And this seems like the moment that we've kind of saw coming. Oz was going to get caught up, and he finally get caught up. And Sophia calls him, or Maroni calls Sophia. And he's like, hey, I got him. And she said, good. And, Oz, because his mother is his pride and joy, don't kill Ma. I'll do whatever you want. Sophia, don't do this. Leave her out of this. It's not about her. It's between you and me. And, yep. And then they take Oz. They take him. They say, hey, you're going to show me where your operation is. So cool. They take Oz. Oz takes Maroni and his man to where the operation is. And he gets to see it all. But as he gets to see it all, the guys kind of like, I won't say ambush Maroni, but they turn the lights off and create some havoc. And then Oz and the Maroni start to fight. And this is kind of one of those epic moments that you're waiting for. They're both putting their hands to each other and they're fighting it out. But then it kind of gets cut short weirdly. Maroni has a heart attack, which is like, dog, what? I should laugh because it's not funny, but it is one of those things where it's just like, Oz gets lucky, kind of, in a way, right? He kind of gets lucky because they should still be duking it out at this point. Who knows if he's going to actually come through and win? But Maroni has this heart attack, and this is also an interesting moment here. Even after he has his heart attack, Oz is like, come on, do something. And it's clear that he's having this heart attack. And then eventually Oz kind of catches on and is like, oh. But even after Maroni dies, which is wild, Oz still keeps going. It's like he has to prove this. He has to prove that he won, right? As Sal is dying, he's got him. He says, Sal, I won, I beat you, right? It's like he's got to prove that, even though it's like, yes, dude, we get it, but it's like he has to tell himself that. It's like he has to prove that, because at this moment, it don't matter. Sal's not thinking about, oh, Oz beat me. No, he's thinking about, he's having a freaking heart attack. What's going on? I can't do anything. I'm tapping out right now, and all Oz can think about, I won, I beat you. And it just shows. It shows the insecurity of Oz, that deep down what he's actually feeling and what it's like he has to prove that. He really has to prove that he won. Even though he did win, he still has to overly prove to himself that he did it. Sal's dead, right? And as Sal's dead, he takes a gun and he starts shooting him, shooting him, shooting him. It's like overkill, which again, it lays into that insecurity where it's like, dude, you know you won, but you still have to prove it to yourself. You still have to prove that you belong where you belong. He is still on the out, right? He's still on the out. Interesting, isn't it? Oz is a crazy man. He's a messed up guy, right? But once again, we know he'll do anything for power. So, Francis is with Sophia, and they have a little exchange where Sophia, I guess, I don't know what she expected, but Francis is very spicy. Francis does not play. She's ready to bite back. And I don't think Sophia was expecting her to be ready to bite back. Because even though Oz has kind of, I would say, let Sophia down. I mean, Oz has let Francis down in a way. Francis still got her son back. Oh, you don't know my son. He knows the game better than you do, right? She's telling her off. She's, girl, you don't know what you're doing. You can go ahead and kill me, right? I think that exchange was it was kind of cool to just see her react and be tough, even though she's kind of scared. And she kind of played off a little bit with her dementia and kind of tried to play around and catch Sophia slipping a little bit, and she ends up slapping Sophia, which I thought was kind of funny. I was like, ooh, don't want to mess with Francis. Francis is, even though she's got that Alzheimer's or dementia in that same little lane, even though she has that, Francis ain't nothing to play with. And she don't play about her son. You don't mess with my boy. My boy's gonna get you. He's gonna put bullets right between your eyes. Don't mess with Francis. That's all I'm saying. That's all I'm gonna say. But Sophia gets this message from Rush. Right? Rush comes to tell Sophia, hey, Gia wants to talk to the police. She thinks she saw something. Which is wild to think. Like, this is huge. Sophia thought she got away squeaky clean. Sleep over outside in the greenhouse while the whole Maroney, meaning the whole Falcone family, dies in the house. Okay, so Sophia goes, okay, I'm gonna go see Gia. She goes see Gia. Gia's like, man, I saw a mask in your bag. And as Sophia is, that's who she is, she basically lies to Gia and tells her, no, I didn't kill your family. I didn't kill our family. Your parents didn't kill them. Also, I want to let you know they're bad people and that they deserve to die, and I'm glad they're dead. And after this whole exchange, a real moment kind of hits Sophia, where you kind of wondered, okay, what's going to happen? What's going to happen going forward? Do we still how is this going to play out? Right? Sophia's crying outside and she can't breathe. And she tells Rush when she gets back, she's like, I feel like I'm the same. I'm no different than my dad. I'm no different like all these things start really coming to fruition because even though Sophia is trying to set the standard for herself and is trying to be in this new era that separates herself from the Falcone name, she is just like her dad, right? Had the potential to not be like her dad because, she had a chance to, okay, with the new name, do something different, but she's basically doing the same thing. So she's challenged in that way, right? And then she also gets to call that Sal's dead. And she, right then and there, you can tell, she's like, I basically kind of lost, right? And then Rush convinces her. He's like, no, you got to keep going. You got to keep going. You have to keep going. And so what she does, the perspective changes for Sophia in this moment. It's no longer about, territory. I wouldn't say I wouldn't say any of this had to do with territory, but it had nothing to do with product and I'd say petty stuff. This became even more real for Sophia. She realized what she wanted now. It's not about the product. It's not about being a name. No. She wants revenge on Oz. She wants Oz to feel pain, right? And so all bets are off at this point. She sends the car into the tunnel, makes a deal with Oz, says, yeah, I agree to the deal. Sends the car into the tunnel, which blows up all of the Bliss product. Oz gets out and in Oz fashion doesn't tell anybody what's under there. He just runs. And before it's too late, a lot of the people that are down there working with him basically die in that explosion. As all of the Bliss product. That right there was a defining moment for Sophia to go, I don't care about this anymore. I got your mom. You want your mom, come and get her. I want you, and I want you to suffer, and I want you to go through pain as I have. Right? One could argue she's still no better than her father, but it is a different shift. It's not about product. It's all about her and Oz, right? Which sets the stage for this finale that I have no idea what to expect, y'all. I'm gonna keep it real honest. I have no idea what to expect. It's possible we'll see Oz on his knees again, tied up again. I hope not, because I'm like, okay, we get it. He needs to suffer pain, right? But at the end, we saw he comes out of the rubble. The detective or the agent or the private detective that was hired by Sophia that we saw episodes ago, finds Oz and basically, he knocks him out, and I feel like that alludes to him being captured and brought to Sophia. So I think we're gonna get to a section where we're gonna see him tied up again, which is fine. And this is one of the weird parts about this show for me. Is like I'm conflicted, right? Oz is a bad guy. He's a bad guy. That's one of the interesting aspects about this show. That even if him being a bad guy, yes, I found myself going, "Come on, get away! Come on, get away, Oz!" And then I go, "Dude, you're a jerk. You're like a bad guy. You killed your own brothers, right?" And maybe that's the beauty of the writing. I think we've talked about that on some of the episode, a couple episodes ago, or maybe last week. We talked about that. That's the beauty of the writing from this show. Their ability to make you like these characters, make you get so engrossed in these characters, till you have to remind yourself these people are bad. Nobody in this show is good. Right? Take that. Gia is the only person that's good in this show. Probably the only person that we've come in contact with that's actually good. Everybody else kind of sucks. Even Vic. Vic made his own bed by killing Squid last episode. Vic is no longer, I would consider him a good guy. He made his choice. Could have ran off with the girl episodes ago, and he didn't. He chose not to. Why? Enamored by power. The good life, the life that he didn't have, right? So none of these people are good. But Gia, again, who's a minor character, but none of these characters are good. And so the impressive writing by the show makes you just you kind of rooting, and then you go, I have to remind myself, like, no, he's dumb. He's a butthead. right? He doesn't deserve the good things, right? So we know he's going to end up in front of Sophia. We know he's going to end up there, but it's going to be interesting to see how it just all lays out. Because again, we did not hear from Vic since Oz told him to go. Oz was trying to call him, and one of the guys was like, he hasn't responded. His phone keeps going to voicemail, and Vic was not answering his phone. Which now, okay, where's Vic? Right? Hopefully not dead. I don't think he will be dead, but part of me wants to think that Vic is going to get people, and they're going to go and get Sophia. But also now with Bliss gone, because that was the whole. That'll be the whole selling point of Vic going to go get other people. Is that, hey, we've got Bliss, we've got the product. That the product is destroyed. So will any of the gangs care anymore? The product is gone, right? Or can Vic turn that and use that? Or at this point, I don't even think Vic even knows about the product being gone. But eventually, would that be used for fuel when people go and, find out, okay, Oz is being held by Sophia. Let's go rescue Oz, right? Don't think it'll be like that at all. Great or Little Thing. That's episode 8. Great or Little Thing, which sees the return of Lauren LaFranc as the director. Lauren LaFranc wrote the first episode, the writer, Lauren LaFranc. She wrote the first episode, and she's coming back to write this episode, which I think all the episodes have been beautifully written. I do think episode 1, I think it still stays in that top 3 zone, and it was one of the best episodes of the season. So I'm excited to get that writing back, to really get that writing back, right? So I'm intrigued to see. I'm looking the numbers for this show. The numbers are so good for this show. I think the numbers for episode 6 came down a little bit, but I expect high numbers for the finale. For episode 8 for next week, next Sunday, or I should say this Sunday, I expect high numbers. High numbers for this finale. Right? Now, this is a part of the Batman talk that we were talking about, I think, last week. I think we talked about that last week. With the explosion, now that explosion was pretty big. It was severe. It wasn't a little explosion, and Oz got out, but it wasn't a little explosion. I'm gonna poke at this a little bit more. I don't know if we will. Could we see some type of hint of the Batman? That is something that you can't ignore now. That is different. That is bigger than the Falcons dying. I won't say bigger, but there's an explosion that killed more people. That's more chaos in a city that experienced chaos not that long ago from the Riddler, right? So, will we get some kind of nod at the Batman, right? Probably not. But I'm always hopeful. Again, I don't need this big him in a suit type thing. That would be dope. I'd be here for it. Never say no to that. I'll never say no to that. But can we get back a signal? Right? Do we see something? Because this is where it's getting chaotic now. Where it's one thing to see people in the street dying, right? But this is an explosion that when Oz comes back up, you see tons of people impacted by it. Like it impacted a nice little section. And we saw when it exploded, it impacted a good section of Crown Point, right? So this is something to watch for in episode 8. Something to look forward to, right? But what do you want to see in episode 8, right? What do you want to see? Right? DM me. Let me hear your thoughts. I want to know what you think as well. Eventually, I'm gonna hear from the guys. Hopefully, I'll hear from them later on this week and get more of their thoughts. But when we get to next week, it's just gonna get even more real. Like, we're at a finale episode. This is one of the best superhero comic book shows to grace the screen. It just is. I don't care. We're not debating it. It just is. Right? And I think what's the best about it is that for people that don't like comic book shows or don't like that type of stuff, comic book movies, characters, etc., they would probably really, really love this show because it doesn't do so much on that fantasy side, right? And if you're a guy like me, I like the fantasy stuff. I like the comic book stuff. I like the cheese at times stuff. But this show is downright, you don't even need the Batman, right? That's the best part about this show, that this show can stand on its own. It mentions nothing about the Batman. It doesn't cling to the Batman. And there are little moments where it is that this movie of the Batman you need to know the little bit of the context behind that before you know all of it. But beyond that, these characters stand on their own. And it's a beautiful show. It's a beautifully written show. It's one of the best shows of the year. Right? One of the best shows of the year. So I'm excited about episode 8. I'm excited to see how this wraps up. And I also really want it. I want something to allude a little bit to this to give us something ready for part 2. We've got to wait to 2026, and I want something, right? And knowing Matt Reeves, we might not get anything. We might get very little. Matt Reeves might want to keep a tight lid on where we're going. But I'd have to imagine this show does play into it. We've got to get something soon. We've got to get something in this episode, right? We've got to get something. So, the Penguin. We're coming to that finale. And I'm sad. Really sad about it. But next week we'll have the boys. And we'll be able to dive a little bit deeper about episode 8, the final. And we might, again, keep your eyes open. Stay locked. We might do a live episode, a live podcast episode. I've never done this before. But I wonder if we can get some views. We can get some hits, get some people in and excited just to be and tune in and get some people that haven't seen it before and get them involved. Yeah. If you know somebody that would like this show, really press it. Really stress to them how amazing this show is. And they'll watch it and they'll get hooked. I don't know. They might be able to binge now to the finale, up until the finale this Sunday. But man, let them know that the show is it's every bit worth it. It is worth it. And once again, I can't wait. This Sunday is about to be crazy. It is about to be crazy this Sunday. So I think that's about it for today on the Real Paper Podcast. You know, with less perspectives, you get a little bit of a shorter episode. Sometimes I can feel the time gap, guys, but sometimes I'm like, this is all I got on this show. A well put together episode. I can't complain. I just know that episode 8 I think it's got to be crazy. I think Lauren LaFranc and the whole team behind the Penguin, like, dude, I gotta believe they gotta go out swinging. Produced by Matt Reeves himself, I think they're gonna go out swinging. Big time hits. And if we don't get big time hits, it'll be disappointing. It will be disappointing. I don't think it'll affect how I feel about the show. Now, if it pulls a How I Met Your Mother, right? If it pulls a How I Met Your Mother, if you've seen that show, it's a pretty bad ending to the show. It's a different story. I think that the Penguin can land it. I think Lauren LaFranc has done a fantastic job of being clearly involved with the show, having her whole hand in it, and directing the show beautifully and giving it vision and allowing other visual storytellers to come in, keep the same energy from what she started in episode 1, what she written in episode 1, and what she led in episode 1 to give us something really, really amazing. right? I can't wait. I really can't wait. Episode 8. It's coming. It's coming. Next episode, I'm excited. This week we're going to talk Agatha. We're going to talk Agatha. Be on the lookout. I want to talk about it. I didn't do a whole thing like the Penguin because I for one personally wasn't really excited about the show. I thought it was just one of those shows that just didn't need to happen, but show was made. It's a solid show, but for some reason it leaves me wanting. It leaves me a little disappointed. I think all the way through, I think it leaves me disappointed. Right? I want to talk more about that, and we're going to talk more about that this week. We're going to do a whole overview of the whole show, thoughts and opinions, perspectives. We're not going to do super deep dive to every plot line, storyline, but we're going to talk about it. We're going to talk a little bit about Agatha, right? And then next week we're back with the Penguin, y'all, and I'm pumped, and I can't wait. Finale. I'm excited, and I hope you're excited. It's going to be awesome. So I think that's about it for today on the Real Table podcast. I appreciate the support. Thank you. Please share this. Share this podcast. Share this on your stories. Share this on social platforms. Let people know that this podcast exists. I love the viewership. I want more viewership. I want more listenership. So please share this podcast with people that you know that love movies, even TV shows, because sometimes we do these episodes like this. We do these shows. All right. Y'all stay true out there. Y'all stay easy. I will talk to y'all really, really soon. Peace. Once again, thank y'all so much for joining me today on the Real Table podcast. Don't forget to like, subscribe, and even comment. I want to hear your thoughts and I want to hear your opinions. And don't forget to follow me on Instagram at The Real Table Pod and on Twitter at The Real Table. And don't forget to also check me out on therealtable.com for news, articles, and reviews. I will see y'all soon. Peace.